Hi everyone, welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and today is Proven Winners Perennials Planting Day for Grow Roots Garden. Yes, it is late summer here in North Texas where we get extremely hot, and yes, I am planting perennials. Is this the perfect time to be planting perennials? No, fall and spring are definitely the perfect time to be planting perennials. However, I got a kind of mid to late summer shipment of Proven Winners perennials. I was so incredibly blessed. Thank you, Proven Winners, for just the beautiful perennials that you sent. And they are going to be happier in the ground in my garden than they are in their cans. So here in North Texas this summer, in late summer, we've had 100 plus degrees, 105 degrees, but the heat index feels like 118 to 120. It's extremely hot, extremely humid. We are in the dog days of summer right now, and the plants are struggling just a tiny bit in their cans. I'm watering them every day, watching them and things like that. But really, truly, you can plant your plants all year round here in North Texas. It's just a matter of being careful about how you're planting them. So I'll talk about that today, and then watching them after you have planted them in this heat. They are going to need to be watered probably a couple times a day, at least once a day, until those roots get established. And so just watching them, just making sure they're okay, getting your eyes on them every single day, that can help get those roots established even when it's really, really hot. Plus, the perennials that I am planting today are super heat tolerant, drought tolerant. They love the heat, and so they're gonna be just fine. But I get to put them in my garden today. It's very exciting. So let's get started. So we are here in my backyard garden. This is my full sun garden. There's lots of different garden spaces that I have. This is the one spot that I have in my garden that is full sun, and that is where I'm going to be planting my Heliopsis Athena Gold. This is a Proven Winners perennial cultivar of Heliopsis helianthoides. This is also known as false sunflower. And yes, you can see some of these blooms are spent. I left them on there on purpose so that you could see what the blooms look like when they're spent and they're kind of done. But this helianthoides, or Helianthus Athena Gold, it's a special cultivar from Proven Winners that just takes the Heliopsis plant up to the next level. So it makes these petals just completely fill out that whole flower. It's full of petals. It also makes it so is it a continuously reblooming flower that will rebloom from summer all the way until fall. And so you can see these new buds that are forming. They are all over. And a lot of these, actually these that you see are the buds that were on the plant when I first got it just a couple weeks ago. And then these that you see are what was flowering a couple weeks ago that are now, spent. But also this plant has a more compact, dense habit. So it's perfect for those small spaces in your garden that you just don't have a lot of space, but you want something absolutely stunning and beautiful. Athena Gold is absolutely perfect for that space. So it only gets, I believe, 2 feet tall, 20 inches to 2 feet tall, and 20 inches wide. So perfect for a border, or for me, like right here, I think it's going to be absolutely perfect in that spot. That's why it's there. And then I have one more, and it's going on this side. So I have one big pot in the middle of that, of this garden, and it has a Limelight hydrangea standard on it, which is actually just putting on its blooms in late summer, which these guys usually start their blooms in early summer. This one was late. But anyway, I think on either side of that pot is going to be absolutely beautiful. I have been missing a pop of yellow in this garden bed this entire time, and I've been thinking about adding yellow, and this Heliopsis is a perfect opportunity to do that. And so they're looking good. Now, these guys spent 5 days on a FedEx truck to ship to me. FedEx was super late in their shipment, which was very unfortunate, but Heliopsis kept on going. It looked absolutely stunning when I received it. I'm going to show you a picture. Super, super stunning. They are just the most beautiful plants, but it testifies to the heat tolerance of this plant, really, truly. If it can survive 5 days on a FedEx truck in the middle of Texas summer, and here in our 105-degree heat, that in this can, like, it's going to perform very well for you if you live in the South or in a very hot environment like I do. And so it's just going to be perfect for this. Another thing that I wanted to mention about Heliopsis is that it is the original Heliopsis is native to North America and almost all over North America as well. I know it in parts of Texas it is native here too. So this is not necessarily the native plant. This is a cultivar of the native original Heliopsis. However, that tells you that it's just going to perform really, really well in this environment. It is a perennial in zones 3 through 9, so almost anybody here in the United States can grow this plant, even if you're not super hot. It'll be just fine. And it loves full sun and surprisingly part shade. It can handle part shade as well, although it's going to get full sun where it's planted here. One more thing that I wanted to mention is that I received this shipment about, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago. I didn't plant them right away on purpose. I wanted to kind of put their pots in a part shade / shade environment to get them acclimated to the Texas heat because they were coming from Michigan. And then I just kind of wanted to check them out and see how they were doing, just kind of babying them until I figured out exactly where they were going to be planted. Also, we have been extremely hot for the past few weeks. Again, like I said, 105 degrees plus, heat indexes are crazy. And I waited until today because it is 79 degrees right now at 8 o'clock in the morning. It feels amazing. I can't believe that I'm saying that 80 degrees feels amazing, but it really truly does when you're used to 105 degree heat. The lows that we've been having are like, the low is 82 degrees. So this is even cooler than I have felt in 3 to 4 weeks, which is so nice. So we have a bit of a cool down, and that is why I waited until now, because I knew that, the first couple of days are the hardest days, I think, on the plants when you plant them. And for us to be, today is going to get 97 degrees and tomorrow I think 98 degrees, but tomorrow's low is actually 69 degrees. So overnight tonight it's going to get down to 69, which we haven't felt in months. So that's going to be pretty awesome. It's only a 2-day cool down, but it's still something to help these plants get started and to decrease the transplant shock that they might have being planted. And coming over here, this is my shed garden bed. This garden bed is all completely heat tolerant perennials for the most part. And so it's perfect to add these Proven Winners perennials. I will just preface this by saying you're seeing a lot of, what do I say, holes in the garden, bare spots in the garden. I had to pull 3 Echinacea and 2 Shasta daisies from this garden bed already. And then I had 2 Sweet William plants there that didn't make it either for whatever reason. But the Cheyenne Spirit, Echinacea, and the Shasta daisies, they were overtaken by a bacteria, a disease called Aster yellows, and it has wiped away so many plants in my garden this year. But again, I'm so blessed. Proven Winners sent me that shipment and I received it the same day that I had to take out 20 plus plants from my garden from Aster yellows. So I'm so thankful that I have something new to plant. There's a bright side to the tragedy, right? And so what you're seeing here is another type of Echinacea, and it is Summersong Firefinch. And these guys, the blooms themselves aren't looking 100% great. They are getting spent. But again, I left them on so that you guys could kind of see what they do look like when they get spent. And I think like that's a newer bud. It has some new buds coming up all over the place. So it's, the plant itself is doing just fine, but I will pop a picture on the screen of what they look like when they arrived after 5 days on the FedEx truck. They looked amazing. I could not believe how well they handled that type of shock. It was crazy. But they are going to get placed here. I took out the Cheyenne Spirit. I had like a whole, you know, I had 3, 1, 2, 3 here. And I thought about doing that again, just with the 2 that I have. But then I thought, you know, there's a big old blank space here. There's a blank space here. I'm going to make that symmetrical. And then I'm also going to put the other Proven Winners perennials right behind them. And I think that will be lovely. Now I'm actually kind of rethinking it, actually. Because this is what I planned on planting over here. Hi, Chloe. She is our backyard garden cat joining us this morning. How are you, baby? This wonderful, wonderful plant is Proven Winners. She loves it, and you'll see why. This is Catmint or Nepeta. This is Catwalk Queen, and Catwalk Queen is a beautiful Nepeta variety that Proven Winners has. And oh, I'm seeing that it's starting to put on some buds for me. It's almost purplish. You can't see it on camera, but that's going to put on some blooms real soon. And anyway, it's a smaller variety of catmint. I think this one gets 10 to 12 inches tall, and I want to say 18 inches wide. Hey, don't knock that over, please. I like it. And now you're going to play with the little strings, aren't you? And she loves, Chloe definitely loves the Nepeta. She's always rubbing herself all over it. But anyway, Catwalk Queen is going to be known for larger blooms. So the plant itself is more compact, but the blooms are going to be beautiful bluish purple, and they are going to be the largest blooms for the Proven Winners Nepeta series. They have a lot of different varieties of Nepeta, but the Catwalk Queen is going to be known for its larger blooms. So I cannot wait to see that. I have to say, my Nepeta actually didn't take the FedEx truck 5-day journey very well, and they weren't looking the best. The Catwalk Queen performed better than the other variety. I'll show you that other variety, which is Lemon Perfection. I'm not going to be planting it today just because I am still babying them, and I feel like if I plant those, that they're just going to die. They were on the brink of death, and so I don't want to put any more stress on those plants than I have to. Those will have to get planted in the fall, but the Catwalk Queen has bounced back so much better than the Lemon Perfection and is doing really, really well. And like I said, putting on new blooms, or starting to put on some buds, and so I think that's gonna go there. And then another Catwalk Queen on this side. So this one I left a bit of the dieback so that you guys could kind of see. The other one I pruned off, but this one I showed. But look at all that new growth. So there's a little bit of dieback from the shock of the FedEx truck, but there's all kinds of new growth, and this one too is putting on some buds, so it's going to be just fine. And I can't wait to see that. But I'm almost rethinking the placement. Those are going to get shorter than the Summersong Firefinch. And so I'm probably gonna switch that. I'm gonna put the Catwalk Queen in the front and the Summersong Finch in the back. That I don't know why I originally placed them that way. I look at her, she was licking these leaves and she's just enjoying that Nepeta so much. Interestingly enough, I have a whole group of Nepeta growing here already, which I think will be so cool. This is just Nepeta mucinii that I grew from seed, and I think that's 2 plants. I winter sowed those, and I got the seeds from outsidepride.com, and this is just your your normal, like it's not bred, it's not cultivated to be anything specific. It's your like original Nepeta mucinii. And so I'd love to see the Catwalk Queen growing right next to, you know, what you could grow from seed, to see how different the habits are. I can already see how different the habits are, to be honest. Because this seems to be less leggy, more compact, but we'll just see about that. This one, it's kind of leggy, if you can see. You see all that like legginess. Now, part of that is because this area in particular is, I would say, this space right here is definitely full sun. However, as you get more over here, this is definitely part sun, which Nepeta tends to prefer full sun anyway. And then I've got like part sun / part shade, and then I've got shade over here. So this bed is very interesting, but that means that I can grow you know, a pretty wide variety of things. That some things that love full sun can go here, part sun can go here, and then shade can go over there. So anyway, that is what we are going to be planting today. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, when you're planting in mid-summer, one of the things that you need to do to get your plants ready, to decrease the transplant shock, I'm going to be deadheading all of the blooms. I haven't decided if I'm going to be deadheading this, you know, the new blooms. I might just leave those on. But I am going to be deadheading the blooms. And that's why, another reason that I waited to plant these, because I wanted to enjoy these blooms and kind of see how they did. But, you know, now that I've enjoyed them for the last few weeks, I definitely am going to say goodbye. And what that will do is it will help the plant put all of its energy into the roots. So that brings on the other thing that I'm going to be doing to decrease the transplant shock in midsummer is I'm going to be, you know, amending the soil, digging a nice, you know, good size hole, amending it with compost. And then I'm going to put some expanded shale in there to help with the drainage. Look at, she was looking at that dragonfly. That's so cute. And then I'm not going to put any type of like actual fertilizer in it, whereas I normally always put some type of fertilizer. I'm going to put biotone in there, but that is a root stimulator. And so that is going to stimulate the roots to grow. And I don't want the plant to focus on the blooms or anything like that. So yeah, I will go ahead and cut even the new buds off, because I really just want the plant to focus on its roots and getting established. And so that's another way that you can help these perennials when you're planting in midsummer. Here is some compost that I'm adding to that hole, although I am really impressed with the soil. You know, this garden bed is only 5 years old, and I tried to amend it the best that I could, but it looks pretty good. I've been adding, you know, compost and mulch, like a pine bark mulch. Some years were cedar mulch, and you know, over time those nutrients go into the soil. It breaks it up. It's not so clay based. There's a little bit of clay in there, but it really looks like really good organic material. So I'm just adding a little bit of compost, and then here is the biotone. I spilled it, but put it back in. Espoma biotone is so awesome, but especially important right now to get those roots established. So I'm gonna get pretty heavy on that, and then on this pile of dirt that I have, to make sure that those roots get established and it's not undergoing transplant shock too bad. Okay, I did say I was gonna add some expanded shale, but I kind of don't feel like I need to do that. This isn't like super compact clay soil here. It's a lot more like organic material than I thought. I'll put in a little bit, but it's not necessarily needed in this case. But yeah, this is what the expanded shale looks like right there. Good stuff when you have clay soil for sure. All right, now we're ready to go. I also should say that this is well watered. My garden is well watered this morning. This plant is well watered this morning. So everything needs to be super well watered before you subject it to this kind of heat. And the sun's already getting hotter, so we got to get going. But this guy's gonna get in the ground. You can see that root growth is pretty good. What is that? I don't know what that was, but anyway, it's looking pretty good. I'm not gonna break up those roots too much. It's not root bound. So let's get it in. I know I have this, my irrigation line is kind of in the way of where exactly I want it to go. So I'm just kind of putting it, the irrigation line is a little bit over it right now, but it's gonna be fine. And then let me just fill it in with all that nice, loose compost mixed with biotone, mixed with the native soil. It's good stuff. Get it all filled in back there. Okay. I was concerned that the root ball was a little too low, but actually it's not. It's just slightly above the line of the rest of the soil, but I think it'll be just fine, especially if I mulch it up. Okay, so the last thing that I'm gonna do is mulch really heavily. I like to use pine bark mulch. It helps add acidity to the soil, which we sometimes are lacking here in North Texas. But I really like this pine bark mulch made by, I don't even know, Timberline pine bark mulch. I get it at, I think I can find it at Home Depot and Lowe's. I'm pretty sure I get it at Lowe's. I might be wrong. Yeah, I get it at Lowe's. And lastly, needs to be watered in. Watered in really good. Even though we have a slight cool down right now, it's still gonna be 97 degrees today. So, gotta make sure that this guy is well watered. And I'll be watching all of them, you know, every evening, every morning, giving them water as they need, helping those roots get established. All right. So that's pretty much the process for all of the rest of them. I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the film on everything else so that you can see it, and then we'll see them once they're planted. Okay, I am done for the day. It took me about an hour to film and get these planted, which isn't too bad. It just feels so hot already though. I mean, it's so much cooler than it has been, but at the same time, when you're working in the garden, it feels so much hotter than it really is. I'm sweating, that's for sure. But we've got Heliopsis Athena Gold here, Heliopsis Athena Gold there. I pray that they do well and establish, and that we see lots of beauty from them to come, especially next year. And then over here, I've got Nepeta Catwalk Queen, and Summersong Firefinch is there, another Summersong Firefinch, and another Nepeta Catwalk Queen. So I've watered them in really good. All of them got, you know, lots of compost, some mulch, some biotone, help them get started, cut off the blooms. Those are all of the things that you need to do to make sure that your perennials succeed if you're planting them in midsummer when it's super, super hot like I am. Again, not the optimal time to be planting them, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that you can't. And it doesn't mean that they'd be happy, you know. In my case, I think they're happier in the ground than they are in their pots. It is now 8 days post planting all of these beautiful proven winners perennials, and I thought I would give you an update before I ended this video. It just took me forever. It's been a crazy week, y'all, and so I still haven't gotten around to finish editing the video even 8 days later. So anyway, by the time you see this, like, I can give you an update, right? And so I wanted to show you, first of all, the catmint is doing amazing. So this is the catmint Catwalk Queen, and Chloe is saying, I am going to join you, so pay attention to me. Anyway, and she loves this, by the way, you guys. She like lays in it, she rubs herself on it. That's what she's wanting to do right now. Anyway, it is blooming now, you guys. Not only is it doing just fine, but it is also blooming. And there is something eating it, probably the grasshoppers, to be honest. That's so frustrating. I refuse to put down super potent chemicals to kill the grasshoppers, and that's kind of what it takes. And so it just is what it is, but it's doing amazing. The Echinacea that's behind it is doing okay. Slightly concerned about it. We've definitely got some browning anywhere, like, because I've been giving this supplemental water, and so anytime the water hits the leaves of Echinacea, it's going to turn brown. I just kind of expect that. And but I do see new growth. It's slightly concerning to me. The new growth is a little bit stunted, and I think, as I discussed earlier, I'm watching these for getting aster yellows because I know that I have some probably have some infected leafhoppers in my garden areas. I was afraid that they would spread aster yellows to the Echinacea and also the Heliopsis. So I'm watching this closely. Nothing tells me for sure that it has aster yellows, but that stunted leaf growth, I know it's new, but I'm just paranoid, okay? But the plant itself does have new growth. I think it's going to do okay. Little bit on the struggle bus. And then the other side, same Echinacea. This one's more on the struggle bus than the other one. I've got some dead down in here. Yeah, some stems are dying off, and there is new growth though. Look at that, there is new growth. So it is quite possible, and that's new too. It's quite possible that this one survived, and I actually don't, in that new growth, I don't see signs. It's not stunted. So that's hopeful. And then here's the other Catwalk Queen. Again, it's blooming. Not only did it not go through like any transplant shock whatsoever. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to keep her off of it while I'm trying to talk about it. She just loves it. Don't step on it. Anyway, not only did it not go through transplant shock, it also is starting to put on some blooms. So that is great. It's wonderful. And obviously cats love it. And let me show you the Heliopsis. The Heliopsis also did not go through any transplant shock, and it's got new growth, but I'm super discouraged. I'm just being 100% real with everybody. I really tried to do everything possible to make sure this didn't happen, but it happened. This Heliopsis has aster yellows. So again, what the telltale signs, these blooms are just not right. See how these petals are short, those are longer. There could be growth coming from the middle, but it's just that bloom is not right. The other thing that tells me is this super stunted growth of the leaves, and not only that, but that chlorotic look, the yellowing of the leaves. That's another symptom of the aster yellows, and it pretty much has every symptom right now. Stunted growth, yellowing of the leaves, the petals are not right. This plant has aster yellows, and I have to take it out and I have to trash it. I hate it. I really do, because I love this plant. I might just wait this season out and try something else next year. Try Heliopsis next year if I'm convinced that I don't have aster yellows. I don't know, but it's disheartening for sure. I'm really sad, and I really do feel like I tried my best. Proven winners, the Heliopsis Athena Gold is amazing. There was no transplant shock here. Heat tolerant. It's been over 100 degrees ever since I planted them, and so the plant itself is perfect. It's just that it was stricken by that silly bacteria and got aster yellows, so it must go. And then I'm also watching the other one, not convinced but pretty sure. Yeah, actually I'm looking at it a little bit closer than I did this morning, and there's that chlorotic super stunted growth of the leaves, and the blooms, you know, they don't have any stems. The blooms just don't have stems. It's super stunted. And so even though it doesn't have a bloom that like tells me for sure, but I just know. So both of them are gonna have to get taken out. That's my update. I'm really sad about that, but it just is what it is. Things happen, right? It is what it is. But I wanted to give you guys that update. You know, they would have done just fine if I didn't have aster yellows. So everything, honestly, is looking great. It's been planted in midsummer, 100-degree heat. All of them have survived the week, 8 days, and are doing just fine, with the exception of silly aster yellows. So there you go. I just thank each and every one of you for watching. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. I am almost to 5,000, so please help a girl out and subscribe now. And I have lots more content coming, especially this fall. There's lots of things happening, so I'd love for you to join us. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.